Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everyone. Welcome. Remind everybody that we are being broadcast live over Van Buren Television Channel 12. Clerk Wright, would you please call the roll?
Yes, I will. Trustee White.
Present.
Trustee Miller.
Here.
Trustee Martin.
Here.
Trustee Frazier. Treasurer Bott.
Here.
Clerk is here. Supervisor McNair.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. The first item of every meeting is an executive summary so the people watching can know what we're about to talk about tonight. Today, the board will be discussing and possibly taking action on formally purchasing the DNR property on Belleville Road at the lake. It is planned to be a future park development. We also will be making appointments to our committees. This will be done on a consent agenda, so they've already been decided that they will be approved. Charles LaRoque was being appointed to the LDFA. Thank you, Charles. He's also going to serve double duty as an alternate on the Board of Zoning Appeals. Again, double thank you, Charles. Scott Medline is a member of Sovereign Partners in Old Van Buren. He is being appointed to the LDFA. And we will be discussing and approving of grants. The first grant we'll be talking about today will be our summer jobs program, the R.E.A.L, and we're going to be telling you about the R.E.A.L program, which is a really wonderful program. We're also going to be approving a grant for senior citizens, for senior citizen programming. And finally, we'll be finishing up, we'll be talking about zoning of the Richard Smith Farm, Harold Smith Farm that's located over by the Denton Sub on Michigan Avenue, and an economic development package for a automotive research company we call Project Pancake, because we're not allowed to say who it is until the deal is done, which should be within the next few weeks. That's it. Can I get a motion for the adoption of the revised agenda?
So move.
Support.
A motion by Clerk Wright and supported by Trustee Miller. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Next motion, I have may I get a motion by Trustee Martin for the revised consent agenda, and please read the consent agenda.
I move that we adopt the consent agenda as listed. Item 1, work study session minutes of June 18th, 2018. Board meeting minutes of June 19th, 2018. Prepaid list of June 21st, 2018. Prepaid list of June 28th, 2018. Prepaid list of July 5th, 2018. Prepaid list of July 12th, 2018. Voucher list of July 3rd, 2018. Voucher list of July 17th, 2018. Approval of the appointment of Scott Medlin to the LDFA with a term to expire August 12th, 2019. Approval of the appointment of Charles LaRoque to the Board of Zoning Appeals as an alternate with a term to expire December 1st, 2019. Approval of the appointment of Charles LaRoque to the LDFA with a term to expire August 12th, 2020. Approval of the professional services agreement between the Township and Detroit Wayne Mental Health Authority for the Summer Youth Employment Program. Approval of the amendment to the fiscal year 2018 budget to fund line items, real wages, 101-101-706-000, and real expenses reimbursement, 101-101-956-002. Adoption of Resolution 2018-12, affirming approval of the Senior Alliance 2019 Annual Implementation Plan for Aging Services.
Thank you, Trustee Martin. I know that's a lot to do. Please note that Trustee Frazier is here, and we need a support. Supported by Treasurer Bud. Is there any questions on this? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? This motion passes. We have no public hearing today, so we're going to move right into correspondence, announcements, and presentations. We have a couple presentations today. The first one will be the presentation of the Silver Award Project, Benches for Belleville. Who is here for that? There you go. Slinger. Blair. Good marketing idea. Yeah, right?
Hi, I'm Marina Garrick, a cadet from Girl Scout Troop 20414, here to talk about my project, the Silver Award. So, the Silver Award, the steps to it is 1, identify an issue you care about. I care about recycling because people are taking these materials from Earth and they're using them, and then what's going to happen when we run out of those materials? So, we can recycle and take these other things and use them for something else that they weren't really made for, but they can be used for, and that will save our resources for the future when we might need them the most. Step 2, explore your community. I explored my community by seeing what we could use more, like benches. We don't have as many and we could use them. 3, pick your project. I heard of this company from Lincoln Park Little League and Taylor Little League about how they were getting these benches. 4, develop your project. A company in Indiana melts caps to benches. I need 400 pounds of caps and $200 to get the bench, which will be 8 foot, to put somewhere here around Belleville. Step 5, make a plan and put it into motion. I put my plan into motion by talking and still talking to business and individuals around the city to collect caps for this. Acceptable caps. Coffee can caps, sour cream, chip dip, and cottage cheese lids, wet wipes lids, lids that go on those which cups, seasoning or Parmesan cheese container lids, coffee creamer lids, regular pop, Gatorade, and then we can take the whole entire prescription medicine thing but without the label on it. And then we have shampoo, conditioner lids. And then these are go-to-go-go squeezes. And then this is the biggest lid we can actually accept. It is an 8-inch lid. It's for bubblegum thing. And then this, completely full of caps, is 1 pound. So 400 coffee can containers full of lids filled all the way to the top equals 1 pound, and we could, if we had 400 full of these, that would make 400 pounds for 1 bench. How you can help. A personal bin, as you have in front of you, like the coffee cans, for at home, or like a small bag at home, or even in the car on to go. Business collections to go in break rooms or on your desk. Public drop-off locations. So far, we have them at Hidalgo Authentic Mexican Restaurant, Viking Insurance, Gardener's Choice, Garden Fantasy on Main Street, Music Lakeside every Thursday. I'm going to be there collecting. Belleville Chamber of Commerce, Egan's Pub, Team Design, Eagles, The Lunchbox, and Holiday Inn on the service drive. I would love if I could have a public drop-off location bin here at the Township for anybody to come and drop them off. Other ways you can help: follow and share Benches for Belleville on Facebook, and or tell everyone you know. I have these flyer here that I can hand out and stuff. You can also download these off of our Facebook page, Benches for Belleville. Thank you for your time, and any questions?
What's in your Facebook page?
Benches for Belleville.
So how long will this run?
It's supposed to last forever. I have to get my first bench placed by the end of my 8th grade, which is this year. And I need to teach others to do it. Like McBride has already decided that after they help me get my benches, that they want to try it. So.
Wonderful. Great program. Thank
Through the
you.
chair. I'd just like to say I was a Girl Scout too, and a Brownie, and I just want to say you're doing a great job, Marina, and of course support it from your mom, and who does a great job on the school board. And I just want to say it's a great way to really make people more conscious of our resources and how we have to conserve them and how we can recycle things. And I really appreciate your efforts. I noticed there was one at the library too. So they're showing up every place I went. Every place I went, it seemed like I saw this bottle caps or benches for Belleville. So I think it's a great idea, and I'm sure the township would welcome having some around.
Do a straw vote right now. You guys want them?
Yes.
Okay. All right. You're in. Let's start with the 5-gallon one. But I will get this one done personally because I think each one of us have got a cap and we'd love to.
Can you hold that bucket up one more time? Thank you.
I'm putting my first in.
Nicole, can you take a picture of those? Thank you, Nicole. We'd like to shake your hand. Would you come by? Just right through here. Yeah, right in front. Thank you. Great idea. I know, yeah. We're excited to see where your life goes. This is great. And there goes my cap. Thank you. Next, we have a presentation by our state representative, Erica Geis, who's been doing a wonderful job for Van Buren Township. Thank you, Erica. There you go. Thank you for coming out. I call Erica a lot as our state representative, and she answers that phone every time or gets back with me very quickly, and you become a very go-to person for me. Thank you very much in our township.
Thank you. It's my honor to serve, and my honor and pleasure to be here tonight to present some very special awards. And I'm going to start with saying that these awards are an example of the importance of education, not just education for our youngsters, like Marina, but also for professional development in our adult years, in our professional roles. So I am going to first present to Joanne. To Joanne Montgomery, 2 awards, one from the Michigan Association of Municipal Clerks, and the other from the International Institute of Municipal Clerks. And the Michigan Association certification has been received and approved by the Certified Municipal Association of Municipal Clerks. And it shows her testament to the profession of being a clerk, and the International Institute of Municipal Clerks also does the same, and it grants a designation only to those municipal clerks who complete the demanding education requirements and have a record of significant contributions to their local government, their community, and state. So it is my honor to be able to present both of these to you this evening. Very well. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.
And it's also my honor and pleasure to be able to present tonight the highest of awards and certifications for municipal clerks to our clerk, Leon Wright. And he has earned the Master Municipal Clerk certificate, as well as the lapel pin. And the International Institute of Municipal Clerks grants the MMC designation only to those municipal clerks who complete the demanding education requirements and who have a record of significant contributions to their local government, their community, and state. And it's my great honor and pleasure to present these both to you.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
On behalf of the board basically, Van Buren Township pays for training. We value education for our employees and our electeds. I know Trustee White and Trustee Frazier are currently in programs for certification, and I believe you are certified.
I am,
Yeah.
along with, I am too.
You are certified, of course, yes. You are just entering into that realm, so good luck. Yeah, so.
I couldn't read it up there because it's been proven. Anyone that's sitting in the audience, at my podium, if you can't hear me, it's the reason why you can't hear me because my speaker doesn't work well. And Ali has brought it to our attention. They're going to be replaced soon. I just want to read this. This is what I sent to the IMC regarding the Michigan Township Association regarding the next award that's going to be presented by Trustee Miller. If you want to come up, you can do that. It's an award that we're working on as a township as a whole. The supervisor is adamant that he wants to be deemed the Township of Excellence. And like I've always said, you can't be deemed excellent if you don't do it. Or premier if you don't do premier things. In order to be a premier community, you have to do premier things. The next award was just shipped to me today, and Joanne and myself regarding the MTA. It's the if you want to present it.
Yes. This award is presented by the Michigan Township Association to the clerk's office for demonstrating superior process and outcomes in governments in election administration. This took several months to complete, and I hereby present to you the award of Charter Township of Van Buren Election Administration Certificate of Excellence. This was very hard to achieve. Very proud.
And as I said, this is not an effort. This is something that I can't achieve this by myself. Earning this achievement from the Michigan Association is a source of great pride, not only for myself, but my team and the community. Van Buren Township is a community of hard-working people who strive for excellence in their own lives and deserve a government that do the same for them. We work tirelessly to provide excellent service to our voters in elections that exceeds the expectation of the state. It's always been my goal to improve upon the process from one election to the next, embrace advancements in election security and technology, and develop an outstanding team of poll workers. And my deputy and I pride on that. We are the cutting edge of technology. We always will be, and we think that our voters deserve that. Thank you again.
Clerk, we're is correct. We are going to be going after the Township of Excellence Awards for each department. These things take years to get. We have only submitted one department so far, and it only took months. So I've always said that I believe that we're very close to what they already consider a Department of Township of Excellence. We'll know in the next year or so. But thank you. Congratulations, Clerk.
Thank you.
And congratulations, Board, for allowing this to happen, so, not easy. Okay, let's see, I do have one small announcement. If you go to our website, there is a master survey plan on there. It's very important. It really does for the next 10 years, I think, decide how we are going to grow as a township. When you look at the Menards was picked to go there because it was zoned that way. On this side, when you look at the Speedway, a lot of people aren't real happy about that, but I'm sorry, but it was zoned to go that way 10 years ago. So, and if you want to be part of this growing community, let us know on the survey what matters to you, so we can start incorporating that into the survey. That's all I have. The rest of the announcements I had, quite frankly, were things about R.E.A.L from people that wanted to talk about it, but we're trying to get to that anyway. Does anybody else have an announcement?
Yeah, we have the Civic Fund.
Civic Fund.
Oh, I'm sorry, is the Civic Fund here?
No, you know what?
Okay.
I'm not sure where the rest of my car hearts went to, but they're not here. They were supposed to be here. And the Civic Fund, as you know, is a spinoff from a grant that we got from the Visteon Corporation of $1 million, and we have kept at that. And we grant money throughout the year to various projects, and we have helped. And the biggest concern of the Civic Fund is to relieve the responsibility and the financial responsibility from the township in projects that they can. So tonight, I have a check for $5,955 that goes to the clerk for his election trailer that he requested, and the Civic Fund did grant it. For the Public Safety Department, and Greg had told me he was going to be here, and I'm not sure where he is, but he has a new public address system that's going to work with storing camera supplies and everything that come off the cars and the vehicles. And at such time, if they ever went to body cams, it would also store all that. And he has been granted $20,675. So from the Civic Fund, there are 9 of us on the board, and I sit on that board. We are pleased to present this check to Van Buren Township, and we'll give it to the clerk.
Wonderful.
Banner night?
I'm going to do what I do with every check I get. I give it
Give it back to the treasurer. I would just like to say, well, first of all, thank you. And I also like to reiterate that this is not the first time that the Civic Fund has stepped up and did what they need to do. I can't remember a time that I've asked for anything that they've been turned down. So they're a great resource for the township. They've been a great resource for the clerk office, a great amendment to my budget to do the things that I can't do, especially in times that we was in need of funds. They stepped up and they bought the trailer to remove my equipment on election day. So we don't have to shuffle everything around the day of. We can put it in the trailer beforehand, have it ready to be shipped out to the precincts. And that's a lot of work for our workers if you have to do that on election day or the day before. So big kudos, I appreciate that. It goes to the Civic Fund. That's what it was set up to do, and they're doing what they're supposed to do. Thank you.
I'm just doing the math. I'm already covering $140,000 in grants that are coming through this board today.
Yeah.
So this is a good day. All right. Does anybody have an announcement? Any announcements for any? No, this just announcements, not for public speaking yet. Go ahead.
I'd like to mention that Clerk Wright will be featured in the MTA Focus magazine in September for his achievement on the Certificate of Excellence. So, again, congratulations.
Thank you.
While we're doing announcements, let's do it. The clerk office will be open Saturday, August 4th, 2018, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. for the purpose of receiving and issuing absentee ballots. Again, that is August 4th, the Saturday before the election, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. and for the purpose of receiving and issuing absentee ballots. The last day a voter can obtain an absentee ballot and vote in person via absentee ballot is Monday, August 6th until 4 p.m. Again, Monday, August 6th until 4 p.m. Thank you.
Okay, hearing no further announcements, Mr. Delaney, are you stepping up for public comment? Okay, go ahead.
Good evening, board and staff. First of all, clarification. Treasurer Bud, you mentioned the word Vistion. And so to clarify, Vistion has in no way anything to do with that money that was from the Civic Fund. The Civic Fund is a total different entity, correct?
The money started with a grant
Right.
from Vistion.
Right.
We maintain the $1 million balance and we try to spend the interest, but it did start with Vistion.
Right, but I'm just saying, because we've got so many negative things with Vistion, now I want to clarify that Vistion's not our friend anymore. That started in 2004, but we've got problems with Vistion still. Okay, I want to go into the meeting now. All of you on the board, except Ms. Frazier, because she wasn't here on time, are guilty of nefariously trying to slip something over on the taxpayers of this township. Let me unpack this. Last night you went into a closed session after 6 o'clock, or after 5:30, 5:45, and you went in to discuss the purchase of real property, the DNR property. Then lo and behold, it goes on our agenda somewhere between midnight, where Gizmo put it on the board out there, and 4 o'clock this afternoon. I get an email at 4 o'clock that says the agenda's been changed and updated, and this was put on there. I know it's not illegal to put something on within the 18 hours, but what are you trying to pull over on us taxpayers in the township of buying property, making and negotiating and listening to your attorney, and then putting it as a resolution as number 13 on here, when none of the township gets to hear about it except for what you're going to try to throw down our throats tonight very quickly, knowing that not too many people, not even the media, knew about it until late this afternoon. Shame on you. I'm asking this board needs to look into the bylaws or change some of their policies by at least adding a 10 to 12 hour time frame where you're going to put something new on the agenda when it's something as big as this that you're going to try to hoodwink the taxpayers without letting us know, and then you want to talk about it for a few minutes before you pass a resolution tonight. Nobody in this township knew about your closed session, but if you remember, I planted a seed last night by telling you that us taxpayers in the township that's been here for a long time have been waiting over 30 years for a civic center and an enlarged senior center, a 5-beat police system, and so on. And we haven't got any of those things. But as soon as we get a little bit of money because the economy is taking in a little upswing, you want to turn around and spend money and buy property now to build another Taj Mahal on the lake for weddings and so on. We have many parks in this township already. We haven't even been able to improve our Van Buren Park on the lake, which is a jewel that we've been talking about since Jeff Jar was sitting on that board, and you haven't done nothing about it. But now you want to turn around and you want to buy property because it's a good deal, because the Belleville Library didn't go there? Shame on this board for making that decision last night, because how did you vote to put it on the agenda when you came and you left your closed session and you went back in supposedly and you voted to adjourn your meeting? How did you put that on the agenda without a vote? Are you telling me you took a vote during a closed session to put an item on the agenda? Or you just decided to do it yourself? Mr. McNamara, you were looking that close to having the same kind of problem Cindy King had, where she turned it into a dictatorship and she wanted to run this township her way. You might not be around after 2020 if you want to continue to do that kind of work in this township and not let the township digest and divulge to us what's going on. You can start your 3 minutes now because I've already used up 9. But I'll tell you what, at the end of the day, you need to table that resolution. No, don't interrupt now. Don't interrupt now because you didn't start the clock on time, so I just started. Okay? So what I'm trying, you can shut down Ms. Frazier and everybody on the board, but you're not going to shut me down at this podium. I'm going to wrap it up, but you're not going to tell me when to wrap it up. I will do it.
30 seconds.
Okay, you're not going to give me the time. I will take my time.
I will do what I have to
Mr.
do.
Supervisor, you're in violation of a common sense. It's not a law. But if you're going to try to do what you were trying to push down in Wayne County, what's going to happen to you at Wayne County is going to happen here. I'm very serious. We've had our ends before, but this is something I've got 6 text messages in the last hour because I let some people know what shenanigans is trying to be pulled by this board tonight. And they are up in arms because they haven't heard anything about it. So you need to table it until your next board meeting and get it out to us.
Finish.
Don't tell me I'm finished. You're
Yes,
rude.
you are.
You can be rude to Ms. Fraser. You're not going to be rude to me, Supervisor.
The board directed me to open negotiations with the DNR property. We got back an offer. I brought it to them in closed session. They liked the offer. They want to discuss it in public. If they want to vote for it, they will vote for it tonight. If they want to table it further, they will table it further. That is all there is to it, and that's what we do. We decide things as a board.
If I would have said nothing tonight, they would have got voted on. I think there's going to be some second thought. You guys can vote on whatever you want.
When you hear it out, the board will make those decisions. That's the board will decide. Whatever they decide, we live with. All right. Is there anybody else wanting to make public comment? Hearing none? Okay. We're moving on to unfinished business. We have none. New business. The first item is going to be to consider approval of the First Amendment of the Professional Services Agreement between the Township and Detroit Wayne Mental Health Authority. Trustee Miller.
I'd like to make a motion for approval of the professional services agreement between the Township and Detroit Wayne Mental Health Authority for the Summer Youth Employment Program.
Support.
Director, could you take it away?
Good evening, Board of Trustees. I was tasked with speaking on the First Amendment of the personal service agreement between the Township and the Detroit Mental Health Authority. The reason for the amendment was to increase the amount from $48,000 to $83,000. What that increase allowed me to do was to take originally only 10 people that would have been on the community ambassador side with 2 managers and only given the CITs 5 people. It let me hire 17 more employees for the program. I know yesterday we talked in the work study, and I believe what I was asked was pretty much who was the team. Looking behind me these are the teams from last year as well as this year. These are my managers. Come on up, Will. And we had a couple of our kids who couldn't be here tonight, and I wanted to kind of give you a picture so you can see who the team is representing the Township this year.
I recognize some of the faces, but it's amazing when you're how much older they look. Thank you.
The pictures you have before you with the kids in the gray was taken a couple of weeks ago at our DTE lunch lecture. The other picture with the kids in the colorful t-shirts, it pretty much tell you they're in camp. So those are our camp counselors. With that being said, I know I've talked a lot about the program. What I would like to do is just have the people who are actually running the program just say a little bit about what they do in the field. And we have our students and their parents that want to tell you exactly how great the program has been for them. So right now I'm gonna just let Will talk a little bit about the program. He is one of our managers and he handles the kids very well and they love him a lot. So take it away, Will.
Good evening. My job obviously is to run specifically a group of 4 individuals, although all of the managers kind of share that responsibility between the 20 some odd kids that we've got. I personally, whenever I'm out there, I try my best to mainly lead by example. I like to get down and dirty with the kids and go out. Today we were putting in a garden extension for a resident of the township. You'll have to forgive me.
They work very hard.
It's been a very long day. I just came from the second job. But yeah, we go out there. I try my best. I've been a coach at the Belleville Tiger Swim Club for a few years, and I try to do the same thing that I do there. I like to teach these kids everything that I can about anything that I can. And I think that the program honestly does that as well as I feel like I could with the lunch and learns. Between that and the actual going out to the residents' houses and doing the work, I feel like they get a lot of opportunities that I would have loved to have had in their same shoes. I believe I'm
Yeah, if he wants to take over the show. Come on, Courtney. You get to say a little bit too.
Good evening. I'm Courtney. I'm also one of the managers for the R.E.A.L program. One thing I would like to say, the kids absolutely love it. To see their faces when they go out there, they're excited to get out, and a lot of them like to get down and dirty with Will. To see the fact that they have like that work ethic and they're trying to build those skills in order to get out into the real world, that's just amazing for us to see every day. We've built an amazing relationship with them as well as Miss Nicole. They love coming to us for different questions. They not only ask us questions pertaining to work now they're starting to ask us questions pertaining to their careers and their lives, especially with the lunch and learnings that we have. They ask us things like, well, what do you guys do? You guys are in college, so what are you going to school for? And when we have some type of connection and bond with them and let them know, hey, we're doing something just like you did. We went to high school too. We had to get our first job too. We had to learn this and we had to learn these lessons going through different experiences. Having that bond with them and then seeing them go out and learn that on the field. So we say I think that's something that should continue. Angelica?
I don't know what is left to say. I also think it's a great program. The kids love it. It's great seeing like the progress within the kids. Like starting from the first week, some kids didn't even know how to use a weed whacker, and now that's like their favorite thing to do. So being out there training them and showing them and helping them. And I think the most rewarding thing is at the end of the day, the residents look so happy that we were there and grateful, and you can see that the kids feel like they left an impact in the community as well.
And we have a couple of parents, Nicole Bishop, Ty Loving, and Ned Loving. They just want to tell you how great the program has been for their children as well.
Hello. I've been a resident of Belleville for 21 years now. I didn't grow up here, so my perspective is a little bit different. These are my bookends. As Supervisor McNamara pointed out, they've grown quite a bit the last couple of years. They participated in the program last year, and they are participants this year also. Just to be able to have the opportunity to do something during the summer, to get out of the house and do something productive and gain that real life experience and to see all the different positions that are available. You know, when you go to school, they tell you can be a police officer, you can be a nurse, you can be, but they don't tell you all these other indescript jobs, you know, so they've been able to see that. And I really liked what Colin did last year. They're counselors this year, which is great because they went to the summer camp, and I can't, let me just talk about summer camp for a minute.
Don't segue too much.
Oh, just summer camp. The summer camp was a lifesaver for me. Don't ever, if you guys can expand that program, I would. To make it available, I know that there were waiting lists some years, and for me as a single mother in the summer, and for you to keep it affordable is, I mean, literally, like I said, a lifesaver. I can't say enough about it. I brag about it to other people that live in other cities, and so anyhow, okay, all right, back on this program. So anyway, so it was a really nice segue. The year that they weren't able to go, that they were too old to go to camp, they moved right into this program. And I just felt like it was meant to be. And Colin gained a lot of experience. He got to work in the museum, filing documents. They went to the cemeteries, cleaning up and maintaining the graves. And he used to come home and talk about every day, like all these different things that he would do. And now they're dealing with the kids, which is nice because they did, you know, they're getting to see the other end of it that they participated on. They were being taken care of. Now they are taking care of the kids. So it's a great program. I hope you guys continue it. I hope, and I guess I don't know what else to say. So.
Mr. and Mrs. Loving?
Not to kind of, you know, restate what's already been said. It's a really, really good program. But I think I'll just pick one thing that really sticks out to me about the program is the the commitment to community involvement, which I think is from a level of government perspective, I think it's definitely the most impactful, right? We're able to sit into this intimate setting and see the people that are making decisions. And I think the people that are involved in this program are the future leaders of community. I think this program emphasizes the importance of community and the tasks, the work, and everything it takes to run it. So I think for me, that's the most. I mean, the job aspect, all that stuff is really, really important. Working, building professionalism, things like that. But I think the bond that they're creating from the work that they're doing within the community, I think is probably the best thing for me.
One of the biggest things that impacted me is when our daughter, she worked in the R.E.A.L program in 2017, and she came home and she shared the story with us that they had went over an elderly woman's house who was a widow and who was not able to take care of her yard. And then the R.E.A.L program come in, they trimmed trees, cut grass, cleaned out bushes, and she took the time out to sit down and talk with them and thank them. And she shared with the kids that she was a widow, she had health problems, she wasn't able to take care of her yard, and she showed and stressed appreciation. And like my husband said, that's what it's all about, giving back to the community and being involved in your community. And now this year, she has the opportunity to work as a camp counselor, but on Friday, she works at the desk. And she loves it, and just to know her, township officials and come into board meetings and getting to know what's going on in the township, that's very, very important. And within this meeting, we were talking to her, and you have some people that may have their opinion where they may be supportive of things, and then you may have other people that may not be supportive of things, but it's a learning experience. We shared to her that, people have the right to have their opinion, and that's what it's all about, but you have to be involved. So this program is helped a lot with understanding that. Gonna say something, Lana?
She rarely talks.
Come on, I'm here with you.
All right.
Just tell them thank you.
Do I have to push this up?
Nope, you don't have to do anything.
All right.
Just say you're awesome. You're the best trustees ever. Go Van Buren Township. There you go.
I just want to say this experience has been great this year, and I love working with the kids, and they make me really happy because I love to tell my mom and dad the stories every time I come home. And oh man, trying not to cry.
Don't cry.
And thank you, Mr. McNamara.
The board did it.
And everyone else here for, oh man, sorry.
She gets emotional.
For making our community the greatest.
Yeah.
Go Van Buren.
And with that being said, like the parents were talking about the different lunch lectures and thing we have Kathy Klein here, who's also going to be part of that program next week. She's already preparing.
I was so excited.
She
I thought it was tomorrow.
She thought it was tomorrow. She's already ordered the food and everything, so I think she canceled it. But she's actually going to take the kids out on tours. She's going to teach them about how they give back to the community. And Kathy is one of the few businesses here that actually attends our board meeting. So she sees everything that goes on here, and she's going to get a chance to see how our program works within Van Buren Township. So I just want to tell all of you thank you. I really couldn't express it in words anymore because I think it's the best thing ever. So I felt like it would be better to hear from the people who are actually going through the program. And with that, I'm asking for the approval of the agreement between the township and the Detroit Mental Health Authority to increase our funds. And thank you. And I will take any questions at this time.
Thank you.
I would like to say that it's wonderful to watch all of you grow into your positions and come up here and express your opinions on how great this program is. We all know it's great, but you are proof of what's great about our township and giving back to the community and learning community engagement at such a young age. So bravo to all of you for stepping forward. The chair.
Trustee White?
That can come out so we can shake their hand.
Oh, well, okay, yeah, 1 second, let's hold on. Is there anybody else that wants to speak? What'd you say?
I did.
What'd you?
Yeah.
What, yeah?
I just want to say that when you talked about the lady whose yard you helped last year, I talked to that lady, and I can't tell you how much that meant to her. And you know, it's important that when they come in and can't say enough about the kids. And I know that we had a luncheon with the kids when they finished up the program, and we kind of told them what we did in our different departments. It was very enlightening to see that there are kids out there that care, that we do have a generation that's coming up and is going to be valuable to this community. So thank all of you, and thank all of your cohorts.
Clerk Wright?
I don't know if I want to end it, but I would just like to say, I spoke earlier about a premier community doing premier things. This is a prime example of a community doing premier things. And I just want to say kudos to all of you. This is what it's all about. Giving back to the community, showing that you care, and teaching your youth as you go along. That's what it's about. Thank you.
I can, I want to add, just for the public, this is not a work program. It's a life skills. It's funded by the Detroit Wayne County Mental Health Authority. Same group that primarily funds the City of Detroit's work program and the City of Belleville's program. We're a new addition to that program. We did tie bar ourselves, and we tie barred our friends of the City of Belleville with the City of Detroit on this program. So Detroit's running about 50 years right now with their work program. If the only way the state can cut the City of Detroit's program, our program would be to cut their program. So as long as they have a program, I think we're going to have a program. So that's good news. The life skills it's also a mental health grant. It teaches self-worth, and I hope that everybody's learning those things in mental health. Teaches careers through waste management, U.S. ecology, General Electric, the police, fire, occupations. They have those kind of things. They have a corporate retreat. You say no, please. Okay. They also do occupation. They teach each of the occupations, and they also tell you what they expect of the people to go there, what training they want, and what education they want. It's a pretty. They also do a corporate team building. Are you going to talk about that?
Yes, our corporate team building, I think everybody's pretty excited about taking an actual cardboard box and turning it into a boat, making it float with somebody in it. I can't wait to see it. Yeah. That is going to be July 31st, which is Tuesday, and it's going to be up at the Holiday Inn Express, and you all are invited to attend.
And then
from 11 to 4.
And the last day, we're going to bus them all to Cobo?
27th is actually a week earlier this year. So July 27th, which is Friday, we'll be taking the kids downtown to the Cobo Center. Well, they'll have their breakout sessions where they'll learn about mental health issues as well as financial literacy, building your resume, and how to become a professional in this world.
We're very thankful for this grant. Thank you.
Oh,
Does
yeah.
anybody else wish to speak?
One more thing. One of the parents just said that one of you all have to get in the boat to see if it floats across.
Martin. Is everybody all set? Okay, I'm sorry, Trustee White.
It's very pleasing to see a group of young adults, this is what you are, to be involved in this and to have something special to do to spend your summers. As most of you know, there's a limited amount of money, so take advantage of it. Make sure that you benefit from it. You know, learn your skills, you know, and learn how to be productive, and look forward to, you know, entering the workforce, because the training that you have here will be very, very beneficial to you. And be sure to put down on your resume that you participated in the R.E.A.L program and know and understand what that is. During the area that I grew up in, I was one of 10 kids. I'm poor, dirt poor. That's the only way to say it. And I really wish that there had been a program similar to this for us, because it is very good. And what is amazing me is how well several of you speak. And it's very pleasing that you're not embarrassed or frightened to get up in front of that microphone and talk about your experiences and everything. It's very important. do more of that. It will help you in life and will be great for you. So good luck to all of you, and to the mentors, better luck to you. And understand what it is to help and mentor students just a couple of years younger than you. Thank you.
Kevin,
Hearing
through
no
chair.
further discussion? Oh,
One
sorry,
more
trustee
thing.
Martin.
I'd just like to take my hat off to Director Sumter for putting this together for the second year. She's not only expanded the program, but I see that the impact on the community is far greater than that I could imagine. I just want to thank you, and I thank the participants in that, and for making us a stronger community, and we appreciate it.
I can tell you that the Wayne County Mental Health Agency believes that this is one of the best programs they've got. All right, again, hearing no further discussion. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you very much. Would you guys like to come by and just, yeah, you know what? Here, this is. You guys are great. Thank you. Thanks. Well spoken. Thank you very much. Good mom. Great daughter. You've grown a lot. We have grant funding for that. If we can keep the grant funding, we can keep those rates low. Okay, we're moving on. Okay, this is okay, to consider the next item is to consider approval of a conditional rezoning agreement between the township and the Harold Smith in association with the rezoning of 50015 and 50061 Michigan Avenue. Can I get a motion before we begin?
Support.
Trustee Frazier, and I need support.
Support.
Trustee Miller. Director Akers, could you take us down this road?
A conditional rezoning agreement for the Harold Smith Farm, which is part of the rezoning that the Township Board has already seen to rezone the property from R1C Single Family Residential to M1 Light Industrial with conditions. As we talked last night at work study, the main difference between a conditional rezoning and a regular rezoning is a conditional rezoning, the owner of the property voluntarily offers up conditions in order to make the future land use district more compliant with the existing neighborhood. In this instance, this conditional rezoning agreement has proposed a 400-foot buffer on the eastern property boundary from the existing homes in Denton Village, and within that 400-foot buffer, they're not allowed to place any buildings or any roads. They are going to be able to do berms, landscaping, utilities, stormwater ponds, etc. But it is going to be limited to what can go in there. This is the first step of the approval. The Township Board has already considered the first reading of the rezoning ordinance, which is the second reading is going to be the next agenda item. And this conditional rezoning agreement goes along with it. So we discussed it at length at work study. I'd be happy to answer any additional questions that the board may have regarding the conditional rezoning agreement.
Are there any questions regarding this issue? Go ahead, Trustee.
I'd just like to say that I attended one of the meetings for the public hearing on that the residents who live in that area could come, and they seemed very pleased with what was happening, and that the company, who we do not know yet who it is, but that they've done everything to accommodate and make it a good investment for the township. And I think Harold Smith deserves credit because he put in conditions and he cared about his neighbors enough to put in conditions that would make it conducive for them to accept a change. Because this is a major change for a subdivision like Denton Village to have. They didn't want to have a lot of homes in there. They would prefer something else. And his idea of having the 400-foot berm and the lighting situation and everything, And he does have the opportunity to stay in his home until he doesn't want to anymore. So, you know, it's a win-win for those people, the residents out there, and I think it'll be a win-win for the township. It brings us new business, and it's good for all of us, I think. Although I was suspect at first, and I thought they were doing alien work there or something because it sounded so secretive. You know, I was worried about, well, what could it be? But I've been assured it's not that.
Any other questions? Hearing none, we have a motion by trustee Frazier and supported by trustee Miller for approval of the conditional rezoning. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? This motion passes. Stay there, Mr. Akers. Sure, even though after we vote on something, we are not usually allowed to bring it back up, but that's, I'll grant that.
Yes, so a conditional rezoning is a rezoning of the property, so you're changing what land uses are allowed on the property, you're changing the zoning district.
You're leaning forward, because that's the problem, you didn't hear.
Okay. The difference between a regular rezoning and a conditional rezoning is that the owner of the property can voluntarily submit conditions to be placed on the property when it is rezoned. And the reason why that's significant is because many of these conditions offer up additional restrictions on the property, which, when combined with the development project, oftentimes make the property more compatible with the existing area. In this example, Mr. Smith had proposed a 400-foot buffer from the eastern property boundary, and the intent of that was for any future development, which we do have a potential project that's looking at going there, but any future development that goes on there would not be able to construct buildings or conduct activities within that 400-foot buffer. Now, they are able to do things like landscaping, sidewalks, and utilities, but they aren't able to do any buildings, conduct any outdoor activities, or do any roads through that 400-foot buffer area. So it was voluntarily proposed, and any future use that goes on it within the next 12 months is going to be subject to that.
Thank you. We are moving on now. Thank you. This item, this is to consider the approval of the second, this is the second and final reading of ordinance. I must read all of this. Second and final reading of ordinance 06-1918 to rezone parcels 83-021-99-0002-000. Also parcel 83-021-99-0001-000 and 83-022-01-003/004 and parcel 83-022-01-0004-003 and parcel 83-022-01-0005-005 and parcel 83-022-01-0006-001 and parcel 83-022-0007-001 and parcel 83-022-01-0008, I'm close, -003, and one last parcel, 83-023-99-0005-0000, otherwise known as the Harold Smith Farm at 50-015 Michigan Avenue and 50061 Michigan Avenue from R1C Single Family Residential to M1 Light Industrial with conditions. Can I get a motion?
Through the chair.
Treasurer Bud.
I make a motion that we approve the second and final reading of the ordinance of record, otherwise known as the Harold Smith Farm at 50015 Michigan Avenue and 50061 Michigan Avenue from R1C Single Family Residential to M1 Light Industrial with conditions.
Thank you. Was that trustee Martin?
Yes.
All right, is there any other questions? This is the second and final reading, so therefore, once we vote on this, it happens. Any other questions?
I'd just like to know if Harold Smith's going to be at all our township meetings after this. No? Well, you're welcome to come.
On the second reading, Clerk Wright, would you please call the roll?
Yes. Trustee Martin?
Yes.
Trustee Miller?
Yes.
Trustee White? Yes. Trustee Frazier?
Yes.
Treasurer Bud?
Yes.
Yes for me. Supervisor McNair?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay, we're all set, Mr. Smith. All right, next item is to consider the approval of the development agreement between the township and the potential developer of the Harold Smith Farm, otherwise known as Project Pancake.
Yes, sir.
Trustee Martin.
I move we approve the development agreement between the township and potential developer for the Pancake project.
Support.
Motion by Trustee Martin and supported by Trustee Miller. Director Akers.
Thank you. This development agreement is between the township and the potential developer. It is regarding the timing of how the project is approved and when construction can commence. What I want to do is I kind of want to briefly go through the agreement and explain what the agreement does and also explain what it doesn't do. Our current development review process can take anywhere between 5 to 8 months, and as projects take a long time to complete once construction commences, and as in Michigan, once winter approaches, we are unable to start construction and start pouring foundations into the ground. The applicant is interested in moving quickly to begin earthwork and construction of the building foundation and shell. So what this development agreement does is it splits the approvals into 2 phases. So there's a phase 1 approval and a phase 2 approval. The phase 1 approval includes review of the building foundation and shell, the parking lot, earthwork, berms, and a detention pond. This phase 1 approval, if approved, will be conducted by the Township's Planning Commission, so they're going to review it to make sure that those items are compliant with the Township zoning ordinance. And if it does get approved by the Township's Planning Commission, the agreement allows the Township to issue a building permit for the building shell and foundation and to allow them to begin earthwork. Why this is important is, like I had indicated, you cannot do some of these construction activities in the winter. It is very difficult to pour foundations or do earthwork in the winter. It depends on how the snow and how the temperatures hold out. What this will do is this will allow them to get in the ground. These type of buildings for these R&D projects can oftentimes take 12 months or more to complete. So it's imperative that, and it's the potential developer is interested in getting moving as quickly as possible. Now, in exchange under the agreement for allowing them to begin construction on the building under a quicker time frame, the township will require a performance guarantee for landscaping installation. So the township is going to review the amount of trees which are required to be installed on the property and require a performance bond for the number of trees which are required to be planted. Once the applicant goes through the phase 2 approval and begins landscape installation, that performance or completes landscape installation, that performance bond will be returned. Phase 2 approval will commence much like our regular approval process. They're going to have to go before the Planning Commission to get a preliminary site plan approval, which focuses mainly on zoning ordinance compliance for items such as, site lighting, landscaping, environmental performance, those type of activities. And then after that approval, they prepare construction drawings for site engineering, so water mains, any stormwater pipes that go in the ground, sewer mains, that type of stuff. That will be reviewed by our township engineers and Wayne County. After those items have been approved, they will go before the Planning Commission for one final site plan approval. This agreement has been reviewed by the township attorney and they have recommended approval. One of the items which I didn't indicate in a prior meeting that I did want to bring up is that the applicant has performed additional public engagement methods which are in addition to what's required by any of our zoning ordinance or zoning enabling act. They did conduct 2 public informational meetings. One was in early June, and that was with regards to the rezoning. They fielded questions from residents who are in Denton Village. We notified everyone in Denton Village south of Michigan Avenue. They were notified and had their questions answered. And then they most recently, a few weeks ago, had another informational meeting to answer questions about the potential site plan, which I had included in the Township's board packet. So I believe that after all these public engagement activities and based on some of the questions and some of the answers which were received, I think they were able to satisfy many, if not all, of the concerns that the residents had regarding this proposed development. And I truly do believe that, you know, this is a good project moving forward. The one thing, and maybe this is the last point that I wanted to make before I answer anybody's questions, but the one clarification that I want to make is that this development agreement in absolutely no way modifies the requirements of our zoning ordinance or engineering standard. They are still going to have to meet all of those requirements. What it simply does is it modifies the time frame for when we issue building permits in the development review process in order to allow them to begin construction before winter sets in. And in exchange for that, we will get a performance guarantee to make sure the trees and the landscaping gets installed around the site. So with that, I would be happy to answer any questions the board may have.
I'm going to shorten everything you said down to a smaller. People wonder why. People wonder if I take shortcuts. I can't take shortcuts with people like Ron Akers and Matt Best working for me because I know every single step. And so but basically, we're going to do a site. This agreement's going to allow them to put forward to the planning commission to do site work. You're gonna approve that site work. Meanwhile, they're going to put up a performance bond that they're going to do this work. While they're doing the site work, the planning process, which can take 6 months or more, is going to go about with the plan review, the building review, so they know what they're building, and we know what they're building, and we can make sure it's to code and to the standards that we've set for our residents or our community. So when they're done with their site balancing and their earthwork, they're going to come in here, and hopefully at that time this board will have enough information to completely approve something. Is that correct?
It will not come back. It will not come back to the board again.
I'm close.
Right.
It'll only go through the planning commission board.
Correct.
Okay. That's what all that was. You get really into the weeds, I know, which is good for me, but sometimes. Go ahead, Trustee Frazier.
It's my understanding that the berm that they're putting up, they're maintaining it in good shape, and if trees die, they will replace the trees. So we won't have anything that doesn't look abandoned or anything. If the trees die, they're going to put new ones in.
That is correct. Our site plan approval process requires that they agree to install landscaping or maintain landscaping in perpetuity.
And we'll be out there. We won't have another cobblestone ridge or something like that happen.
No.
They won't
No.
be bringing hay in and covering it up and leaving it sit there, and the residents will have to come up here. No, we'll be on top of it. And the performance bond guarantees that. How much is the performance bond?
We have yet to calculate how much the performance bond is going to be. It is going to be based on our fee schedule for tree removal, which is $350 per tree.
Clerk Wright?
I would just like to say, on a totally different route, I would like to thank the Airtropolis, Wayne County, state, whoever had something to do with this Project Pancake. I know it's going to be a great opportunity for our community. And although it's not the board job to create jobs, but it is our job to create an environment that entices business to come in to create jobs. And we appreciate that. I appreciate that. So thank you.
Anybody else? Trustee Frazier?
I'd just like to say Airtropolis has proven the money that we've been paying over the years has been beneficial, and we look forward to doing more business with Airtropolis. They've done a great job.
Okay. Hearing no more questions, I do have a motion by Trustee Martin and supported by Trustee Miller. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you very much.
Could you pick better names though? Pancake Project?
I would love to hear
Those names are actually assigned by the MEDC. We don't have any control
Yeah.
over what their names are.
I'd love to see how they make up those names. Yeah. Okay, next we have to consider approval of Ross and Bar, Inc. to provide a new carport for the Van Buren Township Public Safety Department. Can I get a motion?
I'll make a motion to consider approval of Ross and Bar to provide a new carport for Van Buren Township Public Safety Department.
Clerk Wright? I just got Clerk Wright. All right, I have a motion for approval by Trustee Miller, supported by Clerk Wright. Director Best.
Thank you, Board. I'm here to talk today and get present the quote for the west carport replacement. Van Buren Township requested quotes from contractors to demolish the existing west carport and install a new carport for public safety. A completed response was received by Ross and Bar Incorporated. After careful review of the quote, staff is recommending Ross and Bar as the provider of choice for the replacement of the public safety carport for $28,920. A windstorm earlier last year damaged and removed the Water and Sewer Department's carport on the east side of Public Safety Building. During that bid process, the insurance replacement of the east carport, the contractor brought the conditions of the western carport to the attention of staff. Upon closer inspection, the support struts had severe rust and corrosion at the ground level and inside the structure. This meant the carport was unsafe for use and was immediately closed by staff for use from public safety. When Ross and Bar returned to follow up on the insurance replacement for the east carport, which they are doing for approximately $27,000, staff requested options from them for repair and replacement, and 3 options were investigated. 1, just repair the broken footings and get all new columns. 2, remove and replace all footings. And 3, remove and replace the carport with new material. The overall condition and age of the carport, partnered with the simultaneous replacement of the eastern carport, makes full replacement of the western carport the most economical option. While removing and repairing the one broken footing and the columns would cost about $8,000. The rust from the inside shown by the damage to the one footing tells us that there is rust in the whole structure, and that we're looking to remove and replace all the footings may be an option. That's only an $18,000 option. However, removing and replacing the entire carport for $28,000 and getting a second carport on the east side for approximately the same price makes it a very economical option. Staff is recommending that the board approve Ross and Bar for the replacement of the west carport for $28,920. Funding for this project comes from the recent $200,000 budget amendment for capital outlay for the building and grounds budget that was approved at I believe it was the last meeting. It seemed time's flying, it's summer, so I think it was the last meeting we added a $200,000 to the budget. So with that, I'd be happy to, one other thing. I know last night we talked about additional higher concrete footings, and talking to the engineer around the post that would prevent further
Trustee
corrosion.
I was interested in that, yes.
Yeah, the engineer said that the internal corrosion would occur even if we encase it in concrete or not, because that post goes down past the foot, the groundwater comes into the unit and it rusts from the inside out. So no matter how much we put it on there, we'd still have corrosion from the inside.
Basically, we have an unsafe structure we can't even park under right now. We've discovered that we like to have carports to protect some of the elements from our cars.
Through the chair.
Trustee Miller.
Just one quick question, Director. What happens to the scrap metal?
Well, that, for the, one of the reasons why we're getting such a good deal on the replacement is they're doing the demolition basically for free. Okay. So the demolition basically is washed in. They're scrapping the metal, and that's why we're getting such a low price.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Hearing none, I have a motion by Trustee Miller and Clerk Wright to replace the carport structure. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? This motion passes. Thank you very much, Director Best.
Public Safety Department and the Building and Grounds Department, thank you.
All right, next item, you might as well stay there, although I'm probably going to do most of this. This is to consider approval of Resolution 2018-14 to purchase, which will be the purchase of land from the State of Michigan Department of Natural Resources. Parcel ID 83081-99-0020-001. I really should ask for a motion for approval. You want to start it, you want to go with discussion and then see if you want to approve it today, or what do you want to do?
I'll make a motion to consider approval of
Yeah,
resolution.
we did. Okay, if you're going to make the motion, please read out the entire thing with the parcel
I
number.
would like to, okay. I'll make a motion to consider approval of resolution 2018-14, purchase of land from the State of Michigan Department of Natural Resources. Parcel ID 83-081-99-0020-0001.
Do I have support? Support. Clerk Wright. Okay. I'm gonna do most of this only because our director is Director Wright. She's in charge of Parks and Recreation for the people at home. Director Wright had a family emergency and has to be spending some time with her children right now. Before she left, though, I sat down and got a very detailed response so that I can make sure I get everything correct for the ears of the audience and for the paper. It was over a year ago that this board basically directed this administration to open up negotiations with the MDNR Real Estate Division on the MDNR property. The MDNR was contacted by Buren Township to request to purchase the DNR property located at the northeast corner of Belleville Road and Belleville Lake, just north of the bridge. The site is 3 acres large. The DNR completed a land appraisal study and determined that the value of the property was $750,000 unencumbered. This took them over a year. We requested a reevaluation of the property based upon the fact that the land would be encumbered to be a park. The DNR did a reappraisal and they determined that it be around $250,000. The DNR came back stating that the DNR had used some federal dollars inside of this program and had $319,000 invested, and that's what they basically wanted for the property because it came out of one of the trust funds. And they needed to get back some revenue from the adjustment. We told them that we would be good with that if they award with the $319,000, but we wanted the dollar deal or the DNR to attach a $300,000 grant that had offered the library years ago. The deal was a no because the trust fund used federal dollars to purchase the excuse me. We also offered to ask for a dollar deal. They said they couldn't do that because they had to recoup their money. The DNR came back last week and said they would offer us the property not for $319,000, but for $20,000. The offer does not eliminate any future grant requests upon the township. We can still go after the $300,000 or more grant from the DNR. So today we're basically asking for your approval to purchase this piece of property for $20,000.
Question through the chair.
Yes.
So no other decisions have been made as to what will exactly go on this property.
Okay, first of all, there is a $2,000 processing fee, so it would be $22,000. No decision has been made for many reasons. First reason is the library did a traffic study. The traffic study was never approved. Therefore, until a traffic study is completed, I cannot tell you that you can even drive into that property. So that property without a approvable traffic study showing that it is safe and signed off by the county and state that it's safe, that would be a walking park with nothing but picnic tables and trees. So we would have to do that. We'd also have to do a site survey. We have to do borings. We have to do many things to find out if we can build anything there. But for $20,000, we'd have a beautiful walking park, even at a minimum. So that's why. Okay. Yes, Trustee White.
Encumbered as a park. What restrictions are on that? Can we put a
At
building
this
up?
point in time, there are no restrictions on us. We assume that they're going to come back with at least one This did come from the Fishing Conservancy, so I assume, as they told us a year ago, that we must have a fishing component. At this point in time, though, there are no contingencies on the
But you
property.
just read it was had an encumbrance of a park on there, so I'm asking.
That's because the DNR is insisting that it become a park, so I'm sure that's going to be a part of it.
A part of it?
Yeah.
As well known, you have mentioned several times that you want to build a lake house on there, and you stated that it could cost probably in the vicinity for everything you wanted to be about $8 million.
I have said that.
You have said that several times.
Mhm.
And I can assure you that I think that we could have a better use at less maintenance than building a mansion on there, which would not be usable for a lot of residents and which would create maintenance. And I mentioned 100.
At this point in time, we're not discussing what's going to go there.
I
Because
understand,
we
but-
don't know what can go there.
But you discussed what was going to go there.
But
You-
we
you-
don't know
no,
what can
but-
go
but
there.
You brought this up at Washtenaw Community College about what you wanted to see there.
That was when I thought we had some,
Okay.
a traffic study. We
but-
don't have a traffic
Okay.
study.
So we're talking about just the purchase
Pardon
of
me,
the
I have the floor,
property tonight.
Yeah.
Miller.
The point is to
But-
purchase the property.
I understand.
Not what we're going to
I
use it for.
understand that. But the maintenance cost on an $8 million lake house would be, as I mentioned $100,000, you said, well, maybe twice that amount. So I think it is inappropriate for us to put something on there. It's going to cost us $200,000 plus in maintenance on an annual basis. We can spend our money
We are
better than
not
that.
talking about that right now. And if we were talking about that, we would bring up the fact that I've raised almost all the $8 million from non-residential taxes.
Okay, from non-residential taxes, and
Yes.
we all know that the $8 million came from waste management, basically.
No.
Okay, from waste management, as a grant from waste
It's
management.
all there in the open
For,
books.
for allowing the golf course to be turned into
Through the
a
chair.
facility.
Trustee Martin.
This is off subject, off topic.
We are, thank you, we are off subject. So
No,
let's go
we're
back.
still discussing.
We are off subject. We're
We're talking
discussing
about the
purchase of the
purchase of the
property,
property,
not the use of something that we have no idea if we can use it
You
for.
brought up the use of it as a park.
Not at this time.
And I just
didn't.
asked you what the
I
encumbrance
told-
was.
I told you that we don't know what we can, if you can't put a driveway in there, you can't use it, you cannot have a parking lot, you can't have a, it is only gonna be picnic tables, a walking park, unless you can put in a traffic light and safely move people in and out. We don't know that we can do that yet.
There was a traffic study done. I was on part of that.
Okay, first of all, I already mentioned that. The traffic study that was done by the library was never approved by the county or state. Without an approvable safety study, I'm not even thinking about what we're doing on that site. Trustee Frazier, you're not allowed to talk during this time. Trustee Frazier.
Okay, well, from a realtor's point of view, to get 3 acres on the lake for $20,000, it would be bad for us not to take an offer that is that great. I mean, whether we develop it, doesn't matter. It's still a good investment as I see it for the township, because we could always resell it later or, whatever. I'm sure we'd get our money out at $22,000 we would have invest.
$750,000 piece of property for $20,000. We would probably be
Well,
foolish not to
we're
jump on
supposed to use the taxpayers' money to invest in things. They're not making any more land, folks. They're making houses, but no more land. So land is valuable, and for $20,000, getting 3 acres on the lake,
And our center thoroughfare. Clerk
But
Wright.
we could always, I'm not done.
Okay, I'm sorry. My apologies.
Okay, so I'm just saying, people, the condos are right across the road with, in Belleville. So, there's no, if we didn't develop it, it possibly could be bought by a developer to do a couple of houses. So I think it's a win-win for the township personally.
Clerk Wright and Clerk Martin.
I just want to mention, for the people that was on the board, I'm sure, Reggie Miller, sure everybody, you remember, this is not the first time that the DNR has approached
Right.
township board regarding this property. We was approached during the prior administration with Supervisor Combs at that time also to purchase the same piece of property. What we do with the property is up for negotiation before the board's discussion, but I do think it's a good deal to buy that piece of property for $20,000. My primary reason is because if we put something there, it's going to be something that can give accessibility to the people that don't have accessibility to the lake now, and that's something that we need, right? It's in the DNR. I'm sure one of the pieces is going to be a fishing pier, which, if you think about that, we looked at a park, even if it's a park, we looked at a nice park that could be a centerpiece for the township, coming into the township at that time with a fishing pier, which would give accessibility to our residents that don't have accessibility now to enjoy the lake as lake dwellers do. So that's my way of looking at it. No matter what we decide as a board to put on it. Well, I know we all have a different opinion of what should be put there, but that's for the negotiation. But we have discussed this prior to last night, prior to last week, prior to last year. It's been discussed before.
Through the chair.
Let's say I have Trustee Martin, then I go Trustee Miller.
To piggyback on Clerk Wright's views, it's important that in lieu of a lot of development that we have going on in the township, we have new Menards and we have a lot of commercial development that's here and that could be in the future. It's important that we have green space in our community from a planning and developmental standpoint. So it's important that we have these green spaces throughout our community, even though we have several parks, but Van Buren Park doesn't offer the access to the lake that this one possibly could. And I think it's important to us as a community that we have these green spaces.
Yes. Trustee Miller.
Well, I'd like to say that here you have this beautiful piece of property that's undeveloped, right at the center of town, coming into Belleville. Just think of the possibilities of what that could look like. We say we're a premier community. We need to develop it like a premier community. Residents want green space, as Trustee mentioned, but we got to make that happen. We can make it great. We have an opportunity. We've talked about this over and over again. So I'm confident in our decision moving forward to purchase this piece of property. We can only make it spectacular. My question to the supervisor is, what kind of boardwalk, what kind of fishing pier are we talking about? What are the costs associated to that?
I can tell you that the library anticipated $300,000 costs in their fishing pier. But I have, like I said, I have not received a contingency letter from them. At this point in time, they've not put it into their writings. I can't tell you a single thing about what's going to go there until we find out what kind of a site it is. We're going to have to do borings to find out if we can build anything on it. There's going to have to be county runoff. What do they call that? What is it called? Stormwater runoff. That's going to be discussed. There's got to be, until we have all those things put together, and then at that time we have to talk about it as a board and with the community, maybe do community outreach to find out what people want there. Okay?
Is that in the DDA district?
It is in the DDA district.
That's beneficial.
It is. Okay, we've all gone once. We all get one more time. Go ahead.
Last, you mistake my comments wrong. I mean, 100% in favor of purchasing this property.
Okay.
100%. Because I think at the price that we're probably going to have to pay for it is minimal according to the use. But in the past, you have mentioned Wayne County College, you showed a presentation with a big lake house on it. And we saw a presentation on this wall here with a big lake house on it. I'm opposed to that 100%, and I will do the best I can to keep that from happening. I'm pleased to hear Trustee Martin mention green space. Very pleased to hear Trustee Miller mention green space, because that would be very appropriate for that. And we need to put that property to use where the maximum amount of residents can use that on a daily basis, and something that would not give us too much maintenance cost in there, because we have to start controlling our costs, because it's time for tough times to be coming along every now and then, and everyone understands that.
Okay.
We got money for the next 40 years. We don't have to worry.
Well,
okay. All right.
You're not listening.
Is there any further discussion on this? Hearing no further discussion, I have a motion. I have a motion for approval by trustee Miller, supported by clerk Wright, to approve the resolution 2018-14, which would be the purchase of land from the State of Michigan Department of Natural Resources, parcel ID 83-081990020-001. Basically authorize me to sign the paperwork and tell them where to go. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Congratulations, we're gonna have a new park. Okay. Next time would be reports. We have a 2018 budget. I'm sorry.
Excuse me, I'd just like to say, it's not, we've discussed this several times, and it's not new. And I agree that probably going into closed session and then putting it right on the agenda, you know, is probably not giving our residents the notification that they need. And we need to get the buy-in from our residents so that they can be prepared to know that we are in the process of thinking about purchasing the land. I think if we would have taken a little more time, we could have done that. And maybe even have, I would strongly suggest that we have a survey on what the community would like to see there.
From our closed session, I did not plan on putting it on here until the board told me that they all were interested in putting it on the
And
agenda.
that's what the
And the board
consensus
in its
was.
entirety told me to put it on.
It wasn't a vote, it was a consensus.
You can do that.
It was not a vote.
You can do that in a closed session.
Okay, let's see. We are at public comment. First is public comment for the public.
I'd like to know how many pieces of property has this township sold in the last 10 years in real estate? I know of 5. So that being said, when did the township turn into a real estate department and a real estate office to make money? Because I've heard the comments tonight making that it's a good deal to buy to sell later. No townships are ever supposed to be in the money-making business. What they're supposed to do is work for the taxpayer, not to make real property decisions to make money. Third, do you comprehend, this board, what gimmicks are with coupons to entice you into something? Now, the media knows, Rosemary knows, that I was in a hot debate as part of the contributing factor on why the library is not on the place where you were going to buy. We had long meetings with Miss Barbara R.E.A.L. Miller and a few others in the engineer that it was not going to work to have a traffic. The study failed. They did have one and it failed. The idea was you couldn't put a traffic light, you couldn't put a pedestrian crossing, you couldn't do anything in that corner. But now you want to buy something that you can't deal with, and then you can get it for a penny. You're still going to spend $400,000, $500,000, $600,000. You got to put a seawall in. You got to put in all the other amenities. So yeah, they could even gave it to you, but you're going to spend more money than what it's worth. That's why the library isn't there. You people don't see that? Some of you, most of you have been here. What I'm saying is I sat in heated discussions with 12 to 15 other people during the library negotiations, and guess what? That's why the library's not there. So we're going to be dumb enough to spend $20,000, $10,000, I don't care if it's a nickel, because it's going to cost us money. This township runs into debacles for the last 35 to 40 years. Just like what I've seen for the Vistion project, that was going to be the best thing since sliced bread. Then we're still in court with that, and I've got common knowledge of that because I sit on a board for that reason, which I can't divulge anymore. And I've seen time and time again where this board has failed, and it's been ongoing. It's like Groundhog Day with this board. Not just you, I'm going back 15, 20 years, but you keep falling into the same problems. And I don't like to see real estate agents on our board convincing the board, saying, oh, it's something good, and it's good green property. We can't even keep Riggs Park open. We can't keep the bathrooms open over there, and you want to build another nice Taj Mahal Park right there? Why don't we take care of what we got? We got Van Buren Park, Jewel of the Lake. It's on the lake. There's no piers or nothing over there either. Why aren't we fixing that? Jeff Jar, Phil Hart, everybody talked about we need to work on that park. No, you just want to spend 20 grand more because it's a good deal. Nobody's in a hurry to buy that property. I've been in this town since 63, and nothing's been on that property. In fact, they had to boost up the lake. So at this point, you're not getting anywhere, but you're spending money. And I told you yesterday when I said to plant a seed is, just because we got a little money, don't go out and spend it. Because in 2019, we still got a Vistion problem that we got to take care of. That some people on this board was part of that. We haven't fixed that yet. So the sky isn't falling, but we're not in 100% la-la land yet either. And you guys are not looking at that at all. You want to put your blinders on and spend money that shouldn't be spent because nobody else is trying to buy that property. And it's been that way since Dr. Chen lived next door to it that was my family doctor back in the 70s. Nobody's trying to buy that property yet. We don't need it yet.
The house next door is
That's Dr. Chen's property.
$759,000.
Okay. All right, okay. Ms. Frazier, okay, thank you. We're not supposed to talk like that to them out there. Let me go on with the board comments. Does anybody from the board have a comment? Okay. Carrie?
I would just, I do.
Okay.
I'd just like to say, we're talking about a lake house. I'm thinking about culture, showcasing the culture in our community. We have a lot of cultural organizations and we need to be thinking about where we're moving. If you want to be a premier community, you have to have something that showcases the culture. We have a community band, the community chorus, the Belleville Area Council for the Arts, the Garden Club, we have music on Lakeside. We have a lot of groups in the community that don't have any place to really hold speakers. They have to go from building to building. It'd be great if the township had some place that they could offer to showcase the cultural events of our community.
I'd love that. Okay, I think that we're all set. Does anybody else have any comments?
Reports.
I'm sorry, what? Okay, he does get 1.5 minutes. Go ahead.
When did we sell Van Buren Park? Apparently I must have missed something. I must have been at Tahiti or somewhere. Because I just heard Trustee Frazier talking about how we can't do anything. What happened to Van Buren Park? Did you sell it? Did you have a closed session and sell it before I knew about it? Because you're saying we don't have those amenities. We do. We have Van Buren Park to do any of that. We can build on it. We can have all the things you wanted in the green space. So you're just ignoring Van Buren Park. But I'd like to know another thing. I'd like to straw poll all of you through the township supervisor. Did any of you call Whistler, the architect, and ask him what happened with the Belleville Library? Nobody was even smart enough to pick up the phone and call that architect, did you? There was 3 different individuals and 3 different corporations and groups and attorneys that all worked on that Belleville Library property, and that's why it failed. None of you even picked up the phone to research that, did you? You just ran in, you talked to our attorney, and you got with DNR, but nobody looked at the repercussions of what we would have to spend. Shame on you again, because I'm a nobody out here, and I was smart enough to know what to do and call them and get the information, but I already had the information from 6 years ago. You guys didn't even do that. Shame on you. You're failing our township by doing things and rushing into it, and I seen this happen in 2004, and it was called Grace Lake.
Okay, any other comments from the board?
Other than that's ridiculous. But
Okay, no, you're not allowed to do that.
But no, I mean we have had a conversation regarding that piece, John. We've had conversation. We had conversation regarding that, and some of us have talked. Some of us wasn't included. Some of us went to some of the library meetings and heard the discussion when they was talking about the different locations regarding that. I think the biggest issue why they didn't build on that location wasn't because of the property. It was other reasons. But and the land is not publicly for sale. It was offered to the township. It was offered 4 years ago and offered again now. It's not publicly on the market. So I'm sure if it were, somebody would buy it. But
I have to. I absolutely dropped my jaw when I found out that the DNR was going to allow us to buy this piece of property for $20,000. I think the library cost was $300,000, but they had a backup.
And they had to buy the house next door, too.
And they had to buy the house next door. So $20,000. Quite frankly, when we were in closed meeting yesterday, I kind of felt the way the rest of the board did. For $20,000, we should hurry up and sign the paperwork, because even if it's nothing but a sidewalk leading into the city of Belleville and along Belleville Road, this is going to be a beautiful park, no matter what it is. So, at any rate.
Through the chair.
Yes, Tricia.
I would like to say, Jeff Jar and I were on the library committee before it became a district library when we were looking at the sites. Excuse me. So we knew what that site would entail because of the parking and qualifications and everything else, because at one time it was between underground parking and then 2 floors of library. It was going to cost a lot of money. The bottom line was, though, these voters voted on 3 sites. They chose where they wanted the library. It was not because somebody had a big argument. It went to a vote of the people. It went to a vote of the people because the 3 choices all had the cost.
You weren't there, Sherry, I was.
I'm
How dare you say that? You weren't there at the last.
I was there at the last vote.
This is
All I'm saying is, John, is when it went to a vote of the people, the costs were there for any of the proposals that the voters wanted.
Okay. Okay.
I'm sorry, but our usage for this piece of property is much different than what it was for the library board.
There is no smaller usage of any zoning piece of property than a park. A nail salon has more traffic than most parks. So this is the lowest usage you can get. And yeah, he's laughing over there because my director told me that.
All right.
Thank you. Any other comments? No? Here. What do I do with the budgetary report?
You received it.
Okay. I received the budgetary report, and I received the budgetary report. We don't have to vote on that. So let's proceed. All right. Motion for adjournment.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Trustee Miller, Clerk Wright. Hearing no discussion. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you very much.